Press.
Oh my gosh, it's been so long. Hi guys. Welcome to Jezebel and the Jester. I'm Jezebel.
I'm the Jester.
And we are so happy that you're here. It's been such a long time.
It's been a while, huh?
Oh my gosh.
It's been a while.
Yeah, we haven't recorded in like what, how many weeks? 4?
Yeah, 4 weeks.
That was a long time.
It was good.
It was good though. Yeah, it was good for you. No, I'm just joking. It was good for me too. No, it was good. It was actually a nice little break because if you guys don't know, this is a lot of work. This part is a lot of work.
Hella work.
So it was really nice to like.
Did we start this camera again?
Yeah, I started it.
Okay.
Yeah, and now I'm nervous. Now I'm nervous. That one's recording, right?
Nah, I don't think so.
How did it stop?
I don't know, but it looks green
Let me go
to
look.
me.
Let me go look
All right,
real
go
quick.
look.
Here we are.
We're still figuring this thing out. What episode is this? This is episode 8.
8.
Yeah,
We're on episode 8.
We're not even at 10 yet.
Dude, I know, but this is where
I feel like we've been doing this shit forever.
It really does feel like that because we record so many episodes at one time, so it feels very like a lot of time, a lot of episodes at one time feels like it's been a long time.
I feel like we've been doing this shit for a minute.
Like wardrobe changes,
Wardrobe changes.
Setup.
Yeah.
We need a crew.
It's
time.
If you would like to be an apprentice.
An apprentice.
If you would like to be an apprentice, crew, learn how to set up lighting, cameras, audio equipment. You know, if that's your thing.
What if that's your passion and you're like, you know what?
Hit us up.
Let me get some.
We can get you some hours.
in.
Yeah, for sure.
Get some experience.
We can't afford to pay you right now.
Right.
Maybe one day.
Yeah.
But yeah.
One day we will.
One day.
Yeah.
One day we'll
one
be
day.
able to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But we do need a crew. And editing. If anyone likes editing, just.
Wait a minute.
And I like it. I do really like it. It's just really stressful.
You don't like editing?
I love editing. It's just really stressful. It's not even stressful. It's just time consuming. Anyone who edits on Premiere Pro understands. They understand. It's a lot. Okay, but before we start, we do need to give a shout out to MeDiet Cafe.
We do need to shout out.
We need to shout out MeDiet Cafe, which is where we are right now. So we just want to give them a shout out. Thank you so much, Marky and her father, for letting us use this space.
Hella appreciative.
Yeah, and we like to talk about how this is the first place we hung out.
Yeah.
That's where we met.
And the food is really good.
The food is so good.
And the juices are really good.
Everything is good.
And the coffee is really good.
What is it that I get?
You get the vanilla. Oh, hold on. I'm sorry. I say that wrong sometimes. Vanilla turmeric?
Yeah, vanilla
That's what it
turmeric
is.
with,
Yeah.
with espresso.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I've been giving up caffeine. I know.
Giving it up. What does that mean?
I've been only drinking a little bit in the morning, just like a little coffee, like 1 cup, and then everything else from the whole day is just decaf. I know it sucks really bad, yeah, because I don't want to take it with my meds because it's like a stimulant with a stimulant, and then I'm super
really
stimulated,
shouldn't.
and then I get really
shouldn't.
anxious, so I'm good.
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there. Thank you, MeDiet.
We appreciate you.
We appreciate you guys so much.
You.
Yes, thank you guys for letting us. Let us use this space.
This beautiful space.
It's so nice. I love the aesthetic, and immediately when we saw it, we're like, "This is it.
This is the one.
This is the one." So yeah. What are we going to talk about today, guys? What are we talking about?
I'm
today?
just curious.
Yeah.
So I have a question for you.
Oh yeah, we're just gonna go off topic
right now.
Yeah, perfect.
No. This is on topic.
Oh, it is.
This
okay.
is on topic.
Okay.
So when you were married, and you were married for 10 years, did you have any male friends?
So yes, but
You did.
I had male friends, but they were all married, and it was mostly like I was friends with married people. So like it wasn't really like I was friends with the male spouse. I was friends with both of them.
Okay.
And then I would cling more to the female, right, to the woman.
Yeah.
Because that was really how like church was set up too. Like you weren't ever allowed to hang out with the opposite sex if you were like in marriage.
And so when you say hang out, what do you mean?
Like just like be alone at all. Like if you're like, hey, you want to go get coffee? Like I haven't seen you in a bit. Like you can't go do that. Yeah, no. I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So, and then even like the young adults. So, the younger kids, like 20 to 30, the ones that aren't really married yet, like most of them are not quite married, but they're getting to that point.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to stay pure, right?
Uh-huh.
Then they don't allow, if you're like in church, like they talk to you about like, hey, you really shouldn't be hanging out with the opposite sex at all by yourself ever, unless you like, you need like an accountability partner, like someone that's like with you. Yeah.
So you never hung out with another dude, just you
Alone.
and him?
Mm-mm.
No shit.
Never. Yeah, I wasn't allowed to.
You weren't allowed to.
Yeah, I wasn't allowed to.
That was against the rules.
Correct. Yeah, especially in leadership at the church. Yeah.
Interesting.
And I don't think my late husband would have appreciated it either.
Yeah.
I think it would have bothered him. Which is funny because like I was the type of person that was like, I don't care if you hang out
Yeah.
with other women.
Yeah.
Like I trust you not to do anything. You know what I mean? Like
So and you say he wouldn't have appreciated it. Why?
because I think he would have thought that something could have happened. Like it was like an insecurity that he had, right?
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all about, it's really about insecurity. Like
really is.
Yeah, it really is about
It really
insecurity.
is.
It's like, like, okay, if you hang out with this person, like you're going to want to fuck them. And it's like, what? Like that's literally was not in my head. And I don't know if I'm just weird, but like,
Yeah.
I never think that when I hang out with someone,
For
you know what I
sure.
mean? I'm like,
Yeah.
because there's a vibe. Is there a friend vibe?
I think it might be a dude thing though.
Maybe.
Yeah.
You would know more about
I
that.
think it might be a dude thing.
Are you like in relationships? You're obviously friends with females, like women.
Clearly.
Yeah, clearly, right? Here we are. So, but that's always been like okay with every other relationship you've been into?
No.
Oh.
Heavens no.
No.
First and foremost, can I shout out Katie right now?
Yeah, of
'Cause,
course.
Look, she's so dope.
I know. You just
Because she lets me,
do what
not
you
let me, but
Right.
she's cool with me coming on this podcast
Yeah.
and talking hella shit
Yeah.
about my past.
Right.
And like we even talked about it while I was over there.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh yeah, no, that's cool. I understand that you've
Like been through some shit.
done things before.
Yeah.
Like that's okay.
Yeah.
And you can talk about it. It's
Which
cool.
is probably weird for you, right? Because like
It's hella
maybe
strange.
other women have not been like that.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm not like that. I couldn't do it.
Really?
No. Heavens
Wait,
no.
you wouldn't let her go on?
Fuck no.
You wouldn't want her to go on a podcast? Wow, the double standard.
Hell
Oh my
no.
god.
I couldn't do it. I couldn't. Nah.
Oh.
Nah. I told her. I was like, she said, what did she say? I don't really like talking about that kind of stuff.
So
in,
now
like,
that makes
public
me
or
wonder.
whatever.
I'm like, this is probably why, like, it literally every guy I ever like date or have talked to, like, they've been like, oh, so what do you do in your free time? I'm like, oh, I just like, I go to work. I try to like hit the gym. Telling them the things I do. I'm like, I have a podcast, so like I'm super involved in that. They're like, oh, what's your podcast about? I'm like, oh, just a bunch of shit, like different shit. And they'll be like, oh, like, can you give me the YouTube? Like, let me see. I want to see. I'm like, okay. And then they watch it, and then I'm like, they're never gonna talk to me again.
They're never gonna talk to me again.
Talk to me again.
They're like, I'm not gonna end up on that motherfucker.
Wow, she's really something. Yeah, no, I mean, and it's so funny because I've had a few guys that were like super interested in watching it, and I'm like, well, I guess if you
Yeah.
want to get to know me, that's the best way to find out. But maybe that's why I'm not finding love. They watch the podcast, they're like, that's wild. Absolutely not.
It's like a crash course in us.
Yeah. But it's fine. It's worth it to me. I'm like, listen, I want you to accept me like this. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I hung out with a friend of mine, and they recently watched the podcast for the first time
Okay.
and found out, and they went, the only thing I didn't know was, I guess, about the story that I told where my ex-girlfriend like listened in on my therapy session.
Oh,
And I
shit.
completely forgot that I even told that story.
Yeah.
And she goes, the only thing I didn't know was that story. And I was like, oh shit, I forgot I even talked about that.
I do forget a lot about what we talk about.
Yeah,
Even
for
though
sure.
I'm editing, like I'm not focusing on the words, I'm focusing
Yeah,
on who's
who's talking,
talking.
yeah.
So I'm just like, oh, cut.
Yeah.
And then I listen to our podcast, but like I zone out, right? Like normal people. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's my ADD probably, but I zone out for a little bit and then I come back in, like it just kind of, and then I probably miss things that I talked about. But for sure, episode 6, I forgot about everything I talked about until after it was published and I listened to it like fully. I'm like, wow, that was something. That was such a good. I know we said it last episode, but it was such a good episode.
It was so good.
It was so good. We got such good feedback about that episode
so
too.
good.
But no, I definitely like. So it's so funny because we went to the gym this morning, and I didn't even know you were gonna be there. That was the best.
Just so happened,
dude. I love that. I was gonna go work out with someone else, Kyle.
Organic.
Shout out Kyle.
Shout out to Kyle.
Yeah. I was gonna go work out with her. Kyle Killa. We're gonna go work out. Like I was like, September, I need to really gotta get back in there. I just gotta get back in there.
Yeah.
And so I was gonna go work out, and you were like, you texted me good morning or whatever, and then I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to the gym. You're like, I'm already there. I'm like, oh my God, perfect. So when we got there though, and we started working out, we were talking about what we were going to talk about on the podcast. I'm like, what are we going to talk about? I forgot. Like, we haven't even really thought about it because you've been gone for so long that we didn't have anything really planned out. Like, we send each other ideas, but we don't really ever like confirm.
Well, we have our ideas in our notes.
Yeah. We have our ideas and stuff. So we're like, oh, he's like, aren't we talking about the platonic friendship thing? I'm like, yes. And as soon as he said that, all these people chimed in.
All these people
chimed in. Like, can you be friends with the opposite sex? And so you asked someone there, you were like, hey, and he's with somebody. So you asked,
Are you talking about Nick?
I think so. Yeah. You're like, can you be friends? Do you have any opposite sex friends? And he's like,
said,
oh,
nah,
hell no.
Nah, right?
Hell no.
Yeah.
And he was quick about it
Yeah.
too. He was like, absolutely not. I do not. And I didn't ask because I don't know him that well. But I know that you kind of went in on it like, oh, like, why not? And he had some interesting points.
Some
like,
interesting takes.
Yeah. What was it, the movie When Harry Met Sally? Is that what he mentioned?
Yeah.
Like how they said, like, if a man is friends with a woman, the first thing they're going to think about the whole time is, I want to fuck them, or I want to have sex with them, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I feel like that's not necessarily true for every male, right? Like, I feel like I have friends that are men now that I know for a fact, including you, my friend at work, like, I know for a fact, like, that's not a thing.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, so it's weird to hear someone else say that, because I'm like, where? Like, I haven't experienced that. Like, I have experienced that in the past, but now that I've actually, like, I have genuine platonic friendships with men now, like, I'm like, I don't think every man is like that.
Not every man, but vast majority, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not truly platonic for the most part.
For the most part. Maybe it is like and we're not going to go percentages here.
Nah.
But we are going to say that for the most part.
Yeah, I'd imagine it's a large amount.
For the most part. And it's so funny. I'll mention it because it does come up a lot before we started the podcast and when we started the podcast. A lot of people thought like, oh, like, is there some, like, oh my God, you guys have like such a great connection. Like, aren't you guys like, why not? Like, why are you guys not? And I was like, it's not normal to like have a male friend or a female friend, opposite sex friendships. And I was like, no, like literally, I'm like, you don't understand. Like, it really is like that. They're like, okay, well, I don't know. And I'm like, no, like, man, you must have never had a friendship like that. Do you know where platonic comes from? Like where the word comes from?
Where?
From Plato, the philosopher. And he actually like believed that men and women could have like deep relationships without that, like intimate relationships, but without the sexual intimacy, and like really like be able to talk about things that are important to them, different perspectives.
But it's not, I mean, it's not just sex, right?
Right.
So is it also romantic?
Yeah, romantic too.
So
yeah, because romantic and sex is different. Yeah.
So without the romantic connection.
Yeah.
And without the like the sexual connection.
Yeah.
Just being friends legitimately.
Yeah.
And just sharing things in common.
Right.
You know, and just loving to converse with one another.
Yeah.
And that's simply it.
Yeah, and it does get tricky too when the opposite sex has a partner, because then you're like, okay, I don't want that person to think. So when you got with your girlfriend, I was like, oh, okay, well,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was like, oh
Yeah,
God, we're gonna
that's
talk
a
so
tricky
much shit. Yeah, I
situation.
was like, we're gonna talk so much shit.
That's a tricky situation.
And like, I know like she probably knows that nothing like at the first, like when you first got together, I was like, she probably knows. So glad we met, and we're friends.
Yeah.
So and she's cool with it, and so I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. Like we've even talked about it, where it was like, no, she's like, I totally get the friendship thing. Like I get that you guys are best friends.
Yeah.
Like that's. I'm like, oh,
she's super cool.
that's
like
literally
that.
all I was like,
Yeah.
that's really all I care about. I'm like, as long as you know, then we good. Because
When the three of us hung out together,
that was
that
legit.
shit was so much fun.
That was so much fun. I had
Yeah.
a really good time, and like it was good to just like get together and get to know each other and really see like us like together, so she can understand like
Yeah.
where we were at friendship wise.
sure.
So and like she was like recording us and shit, and I was
Yeah.
like, dude, she's in. That's fine.
She's
Yeah,
cool.
she's in.
She's so fucking cool. I'll tell you what, I've had girlfriends in the past that would have never flown.
When you told, I'm not gonna lie, when we hadn't even started, we hadn't even done our first
Yeah.
episode. It was when we were over at my friend's house, right?
Uh-huh.
And you and I were in the back, and we were talking and hanging out, and like trying to get like an idea of the equipment we were gonna need and all this stuff. And you were like sitting there, and you're like, fuck, like you're like, I just started a whole ass relationship with someone in another country, and like I'm starting this podcast talking about all of this shit.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my God, what the timing, right? I was like,
Awful.
awful timing. And I was like, you better not back out, bitch. You better not fucking back out. I'm gonna lose my mind right now. And I think you were just like, I don't think you were concerned about like the podcast with another female thing. I think it was more like all the shit you were gonna be talking on it. Yeah, like everything that you were gonna be spewing out. You're like, she's gonna hear everything.
Yeah.
gonna hear it
I
all.
was stressing over episode 6.
You were.
I was stressing
You
over
were.
episode 6.
Yeah.
I was. Yeah.
Yeah. Did
For
you listen
sure.
to it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
And it was fine.
She said she laughed and enjoyed it and thought it was funny. Yeah.
I was so drunk. It was.
I talked some
couldn't-
shit.
Ooh,
I talked some
couldn't.
shit on that episode.
What did you say that was? I can't
don't
even
wanna
remember.
talk about it again.
I can't. I can just play it in the car when I get in there. It's fine.
If you've seen episode 6, you know I talk a little shit in that episode. But
Dude, you did. I mean, we talk shit every episode, I feel like. But maybe 6 was a little bit worse. We were highly inebriated at that. I was.
You were.
I was highly
Yeah,
inebriated.
you were, and I was catching the vibe.
Yeah,
for sure.
You were in on it. You're like,
Loose.
"Ooh, let's
It was
go,
loose.
let's
It
fucking
was
go."
loose.
This was your dream.
It
You're
was
like, "I
loose.
want to do this so bad." Like, where it's just nothingness. We just don't have a subject. We just go off the we just go off the rails, and it was fun. It was a good time. I like when we do that because then we just shoot the shit and like, it was good. I just need like if I was like one level under, it would have been perfect.
Nah, I think it was.
No.
perfect. All right, so
You're right,
I got a question. So you said that you wouldn't mind if your husband hung out with somebody by himself,
Right.
but you think he would have had an issue if you hung out with somebody. And you said your only male friends were already in
They were already married.
marriages.
I was also working somewhere where that wasn't the case. So for those of you guys that don't know, I used to work at Zappos, and Zappos like a really, very inclusive. Like they don't I won one time this package to go to the Artisan. Have you heard of that hotel? That like weird one? Yeah.
The Artisan is where they have the swinger parties.
Oh,
That's the one.
That's
the
a fucking
one.
cool hotel. Okay, I'm gonna go. No, I'm just kidding. So I'm gonna go. We won this package to the Artisan. It was a Halloween party. Him and I went, and in like they had like a bucket. It was during Halloween. They had a bucket of candy, and in there they had like 15 different like kinds of condoms in there because they know that their employees, that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna party, and they're like might as well have safe sex, right? So they provided like
Zappos
condoms.
provided condoms?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. So very much like that kind of atmosphere was there. Party atmosphere. Yeah, it was very much that kind of vibe.
Shout out to Tony Shea.
Dude, I know.
My
Aw,
guy,
rest in peace.
R.I.P. my
Rest
guy.
in peace. Yeah.
Giving fucking downtown Vegas the glow up.
Dude, the glow
My
up.
guy, R.I.P.
He was such an incredible person. Like when he died, I was so, because I had heard, he stepped down from being CEO at Zappos. I had heard like that he was getting a little bit more into drug use, so it was getting me like So nervous. Then when he died, I was like, I really hope that he didn't die from an overdose, because that is not how he should be remembered.
Yeah.
Like, he literally did so much. So even if he did die from a drug overdose, that literally should not be what he should be remembered as, right? Like, he did so much for downtown, created so many jobs.
So much.
He put in so much money to these entrepreneurs trying to start businesses downtown.
Yeah.
Like, there's a place down there called Eat, and I don't remember the name of the woman who owns it, but she has two, but he literally gave her a loan for nothing, no interest, nothing. Was like, I believe in your business.
Yeah.
She started it, paid him back, started another fucking business.
That's dope.
Like, and he's just really big about entrepreneurship, like really big about like getting, like when we were in Zappos, he was all about like, hey, like, what do you want to do? What is it that you guys want to grow in? He was legit, but that was the party atmosphere.
Beautiful atmosphere.
It was. It really was.
Man.
When he stepped down, I'm not gonna lie, that's when it really started to change. And I was like, you know, Amazon owns Zappos, and like,
can we talk about why? It's off topic, but it's
Amazon,
interesting as fuck.
So what I heard was, this was 9 years when I was working there. So it's been like probably 15 years now that Amazon has owned Zappos, right? So basically the story was, Zappos started as a solely shoes. That was all it was. There was no accessories, anything like that. So they had like big name brands on their site. Amazon saw like the potential that they had, like the customer service, the like atmosphere that they provided for the employees. They saw these things. So they're like, okay, we want to buy you immediately, as soon as it really started. And Tony Hsieh was like, no. Like, I'm good. I don't want you to buy me. You know, like, I don't want you to buy this company. Like, this is our own culture. Like,
I'm not fucking selling out.
Yeah, I don't want to sell out. Yeah, I don't want to sell out.
Go fuck yourself. Oh, I love that shit.
Yeah, so he's like, no, we're good. We're good.
Good for him.
Unfortunately, because Zappos was so small, it was really hard to compete.
Amazon.
It was really hard to compete. So what Amazon did, kind of shadily,
kind of
assholes. They literally like started selling shoes, same thing, for cheaper, right?
Yeah.
Because they can do that, right? So they undercut the price. They still offered the same sort of customer service that we were offering. Not as good, right? But still pretty great, right? And there was just like a lot of competition, and Zappos really couldn't keep up with it. Like they were doing, I mean, he tried every avenue to try to keep it going solely. And so basically he met with, what's his name? Bezos. So he met with Bezos, and he sat down with him, and he's like, look, I know what you're doing. Like, and like, I know you want to buy us. I know this is the whole reason you're doing this.
Also, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, like he was mad, but he was like, okay, since you're not going to allow us to flourish as a business because you're going to continue to take things away, right? He's like, you can buy us. However, all of my rules are going to still apply to whatever, like every rule I have, like I need you to abide by it, right? Like, so they have this contract. Zappos was still its very own company. It's its own company. It's just owned by Amazon. They are Amazon's cash cow. So they just make money for them. That's it. And then, but the culture was still important. He was like, I do not want to change the culture. I don't want to change like how we treat our employees. I do not want to change how we treat our customers. That's literally why we have a business. So like he really made sure like, yeah, it sucks that I have to sell out. This is the only way I'm going to be able to keep this business alive. But if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it the way I want to do it. And and Bezos was like cool with it. Like he was like, yeah, if you want to continue doing that. We ended up switching over to like Amazon systems and everything. Like we didn't use our own systems anymore. Now we were using Amazon's, but because Amazon's system didn't work for a lot of what we wanted to do, you know, we had to like, they had to like make shortcuts in there and like work it out. What are you looking at?
Just making sure the camera's recording.
Oh my God. Is it? Okay,
if you need a reason to not shop with Amazon, please use this as one. Because I shop with Amazon as little as fucking possible.
Me too. Yeah, as little as I can.
And just hearing this story.
I just canceled my Prime account.
Hearing this story just
boils your blood.
Makes me so fucking
Could you
mad.
imagine if they
I'm
like
a small
started
business owner myself.
Yeah.
And so
it's hard. So those those other like bigger businesses in your niche, you know, could you imagine one of them coming to you and being like, I want to buy your business, or like trying to get people only over to them and like, you know what I mean?
For sure.
In every way. I'm sure that's still happening.
That's happening.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Zappos encouraged safe sex
Yeah.
at this party that you guys went to.
Yeah, they have. That's the kind of atmosphere that they were involved in. I don't remember why I started talking about Zappos in the first place. Where we? Oh,
well, you were talking
right.
about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So my husband and I had won that. I wanted to go by myself, and here's why: to that party because he was not a party guy, right? And I wanted to be at Zappos. It's good to be involved with your coworkers like that, so that not like you're hanging out with them and partying with them because you got to know different departments. When they had a vendor party, they had all of the bigwigs from Nike and Adidas and like all these huge higher ups from there. We got invited to, and we could like meet them and hang out with them and talk to them, right? So it was a good opportunity. However, he was not a party guy. It's not his thing.
Yeah.
But he ended up going because he didn't want me to go by myself, because he didn't want that opportunity for me to vibe with other people, hang out with other people.
So you think it was more of like an insecurity?
It was an insecurity control.
Yeah.
He didn't even think I should be going at all, at all, because he was like, well, it's a party.
Yeah.
And there's going to be drinking there. Yeah. And that we shouldn't be like in that type of atmosphere. Yeah.
I can relate.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was hard to I only went to 2 parties ever at Zappos. I worked there for 4 years. They had like 12 parties in that whole time. I went to 2.
No shit.
Yeah. And
just because of your husband.
Mm-hmm. And I wanted to go. I wanted to go to them, So it was always an argument of some sort because there's so much insecurity there. Like, you can't go there. Like, you can't.
Do you know the root of his insecurities?
I'm sure it had a lot. Well, one of the main reasons he didn't want me to get weight loss surgery was because he was insecure that I was going to get smaller and just all of a sudden just change my mind, right? Which kind of did happen. I mean, not because I got smaller, just because of other reasons, other mental reasons that I was figuring out at the time. But no, he just had that insecurity of well, she'll probably leave me. Well, probably because he knew that he wasn't providing the best life he could for me, right? Or trying to be the best husband he could be. So he's like, oh, well, if she knows that there's something else better out there, she's going to leave me. Right? I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Yeah. Which I feel like a lot of people who have problems with people having opposite sex friends feel, right? Mm-hmm. They don't feel worthy enough. And so the job of the person who has those opposite sex friendships should be more assertive and affirming, no, you're the only one. Yeah. You're the one I want.
Interesting.
That's how I feel it should be. Obviously that person needs, it's not wrong to need what is it? Affirmations, right? Reassurance. Yeah. You're it. This is what I want.
For sure.
And they just have to trust and believe that if they want to be in a relationship with you, they have to trust and believe that you're being true. That vulnerability part.
Yeah. Being vulnerable.
Yeah. But that was hard having any male friends. And then after, I just was like, why can't I be friends with people? Without it being like that, And
And so even if you were to get into a relationship now, you would be cool with your male partner having female friends or no?
I mean, I feel like I think I would be okay with it because I have male friends. But see, again, men and women are so different when it comes to that. Yeah. Yeah, it's so different. Yeah. Yeah, it's so different. So for me, it wouldn't be difficult.
Bro, so different.
It's so different.
So different.
Yeah.
So different.
Yeah, so I feel
so different.
I feel like I would be fine being in platonic friendships with men. I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
And then if I do become friends with someone and I'm I shouldn't hang out with them. I know myself. And so I'm I won't, I'll kind of pull back or whatever, something like that if I was in a relationship. If I'm not, I'm not going to pull back. I'm just going to have whatever. Yeah, fuck it. But
But if you're in a relationship, okay, and so where is your line that you draw in the sand, this is okay and this isn't? I guess
just having a conversation with that person, seeing where they're at and what their intentions are with me. Because if their intentions are I want to be with you and this is who I want to be with and I don't want to be with anybody else, him having female friends wouldn't bother me as much because I'd be like, okay, he's this, and I know men can lie.
Women can lie too, though.
I know, but in my experience, it's been mostly men. I know they can lie.
Fucked with women.
I haven't fucked with women, but I've heard from lesbians that it's the same. It's the same. They're it's literally the same.
Yeah. Men lie, women lie.
Yeah, we all lie. We're all liars.
Numbers don't.
Yeah, fucking people, just in general, but. I think I wouldn't have as much of an issue if like we had a conversation about it and I was just like, hey, I just want to know who you're hanging out with, like who it is. I'd like to meet them,
For sure.
like hang out with them, get to know them. But I don't think it would like bother me if they hung out. Like, I don't know if I would be super cool with them like hanging out at. Are you making sure it's recording? It is.
Just ignore me when I do that.
No, I can't.
'Cause I'm paranoid
I can't.
now.
No, I know we're like. No, I think that like if they were like, oh, I'm just gonna go over to her house and like just chill and watch some TV, that would bother me. That would bother me. Why? Can't you watch TV with me? Right? Like that would be weird. But if they're like, oh my gosh, you got these like tickets to this show, like we want to, like I love this type of stuff and I don't like it. Let's say it's like I like opera, but let's pretend like it's like opera. I got opera tickets and she got opera tickets. Like we want to go. No problem.
Nah, I'm going.
Yeah, you're gonna go, right? Yeah.
No, I'm going to the opera, even if I don't like that shit.
Yeah. Oh, you going?
I'm going. Oh yeah, you're gonna take a dude? Nah.
Oh my god, it wouldn't bother me like that.
Nah. Look, man, it's so timely too.
Yeah.
Because Katie and I just had this conversation. We just like.
Which is weird because it's different for men.
It is different.
Meaning like men are more likely to not be able to have a platonic friendship with a female.
So
she has.
So coming from the boyfriend's perspective, and it sounds like a double standard, which it is, but men and women are different.
I know.
Like different.
But don't you feel like she should have less trust because the male has a harder time being friends with females? Like, I feel like females have an easier time having platonic friendships with men. So I feel like Katie would have an easy time being friends with men with no problem.
Yeah, but I don't trust them niggas.
I know you don't, but you trust her.
I do.
Yeah.
But I trust. So seriously, we just had this conversation.
Okay, I want to hear what the outcome was. Tell me.
And I told her, I was like, I trust your judgment, but I don't trust those motherfuckers to be honest with how they feel. Mm-hmm. Right? And so that's my problem.
Right.
And so I don't, like a big problem for me is another dude like getting a dose of dopamine from my woman. Mm-hmm. Bruh,
absolutely not.
I don't like that shit at all.
Absolutely
not. That
not.
shit infuriates me.
Yeah, but that's not on you or her because he's getting something out of it. But she's
So don't put yourself in that situation.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, and she's different. Like I've never felt about a woman the way I feel about her, and so I'm about to get real vulnerable right now. I'm learning how to handle these feelings and emotions that I have when it comes to her.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
and
it's all new.
Yeah, and so I feel like I'm way more protective, jealous, insecure, all of these things with her than I've ever been before.
Right.
Because I care.
Right. You care, but also like some of those things, and it's not bad. I don't think it's bad to be like more cautious, right? And like because you don't want to lose it, right?
For sure. Yeah.
But also like putting trust in her and not the guys because you can't trust them.
I would fuck.
I know you would.
Yeah.
I know you would.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
But she's smart, so I feel like
I would go to jail. I would go to prison. I would go to prison. Don't even look. I'm not.
That's all
I'm
a woman
laughing.
ever wants to hear. That's all a man or a woman would ever want to hear.
I would fuck somebody. I would fuck somebody up, and I just don't want her to be in that situation, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
even
it is awkward. Yeah, because it's awkward.
I don't trust dudes. Dudes are fucking creeps, man.
I know. You would know best, right?
Even dudes that like appear to be, oh yeah, I'm cool and da 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 this, da da that, da da da. Oh yeah, no, I'm just a friend. Go fuck yourself.
Right. Okay, but I will tell you this. So what's gonna happen when I get if probably not anytime soon. It's not gonna happen anytime soon. I get a man. So okay, so what's funny is so one of the guys that I like showed my podcast to, he was like, oh, like who is that?
Yeah.
You know, immediately. And I was like, it's my friend Ernest. Like he's like one of my best friends, and he's like, okay, like so you guys aren't fucking. And I'm like, what kind of question is that?
That's a legitimate question, though.
Oh my god!
You gotta make sure. You gotta make sure.
You do. Well, I was like, no, but I felt like he was already so insecure about the fact that I had a platonic friendship that like. I don't like. He just kind of stopped, like, kind of like weaned off, and I'm like, good. I guess I don't want people like that, right? Like that automatically think that, but I'm like, listen to it, and you'll see why. You know what I mean? Like, listen to it, and you'll understand.
You'll get it. Yeah.
You'll get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I think that a lot of times, like men have a harder time letting their women hang out with dudes.
Nah, I'm not.
If I ever get a man, I might have to stop hanging out with you. They're going to be like you.
I'm not. And even Katie was like, what if I said that you couldn't have any female friends? You couldn't have any women friends? And I was like,
It changed a little bit for you, huh? You're just like, shit.
Well,
Don't tell me what to do. Wait, what? I don't want to. That sounds awful.
And then I just go back to just men and women are just different, man.
I know. No,
just
it's
different.
true. It's true. But there are men that are like you that can have platonic friendships. And so I guess you have to, like, if she's like, I have this friend, he's like he's like my platonic friend. Like we vibe on a friend level.
I'd have to meet him.
Yeah, of course. That's not absurd.
No, for sure. I would.
Yeah.
But even if I met him, I still wouldn't.
You don't know that.
And let me tell you.
You don't know that.
It's my own personal things that makes me feel this way. Because I've been that guy. And these fucking memes don't make themselves about the guy she tells you not to worry about.
That's true.
Yeah. That just didn't fucking
They
create
just come out of nowhere. Right. People.
Right?
Actually.
That shit happens.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, he's like a brother to me.
What if they've been best friends since childhood?
Nope.
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
You don't understand the resilience. The resilience that men have to put some shit off until the moment is right. Like, for decades, a dude could be like, oh, yeah, no, we're friends. And the moment, just looking for a chink in that fucking armor to be like, you know what? This is what.
Or like when they get someone and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I can't have them. And now I want to work harder to try to get them. Because that's a thing too.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's a game.
Yeah. But even, I mean, and this is an example that people use sometimes. But, and Nick brought it up earlier at the gym. And he goes, text him like, me and my boyfriend are going through it right now. Do you want to come over and hang out? And see what he says.
Oh, shit.
And see what he
That's
says.
Real.
Yeah, for sure.
Real.
Just see what happens.
Yeah.
And I fucking guarantee you 99.9% of dudes are going to be like, I'm on the way.
You don't think that women would do the same, though? If a guy was like, me and my girlfriend are going through some shit, like, can you come over? You know that there would be girls that'd be like, yeah, I'll be right over.
Even if a girl were to come over, it wouldn't be automatic like, oh, I'm about to fuck. Like,
do you think every man thinks that?
Yes! Are you kidding me?
I'm just asking. God.
No, yes.
Absolutely, yes.
Every man.
Yes.
Every man.
Okay.
In that situation is like, I'm about to fucking smash. I'm about to fucking smash this thing. I'm about to give her that get over your boyfriend dick.
Dang. That's good dick, though. That's good dick. Sometimes. Well, sometimes.
Nah.
Sometimes it is.
Nah.
But, I mean, women do that too. Like, if a man were to be like, hey, me and my girl are going through some rough times, like, you know, can you come over or whatever? Like, that's a thing too. It's an opportunity for some girls that have been thinking about that. You don't think? I think girls think that too. Like, if they have platonic
friendships,
but
the percentages are
I know.
way different.
We're not doing.
We're not, but we are right now. The majority of men is gonna come over like, oh, I'm about to fuck. The majority of women be like, oh, let me go be there for my friend, and not necessarily think like, oh, I'm about to smash.
I would think if a man texted me that though, that they were thinking that they needed to smash so that they could get over their other, you know.
Okay, let's say I text you, and I'm like, "Yo, it's not."
Katie and you are not working.
Things aren't working out too great.
Right. And you're like, can you come over and hang out?
Comes over.
I would come over and hang out because you're my friend.
Yeah.
Right.
But
there would be nothing else.
You're not gonna be like, oh, I might get lucky tonight.
Right.
You're not thinking that.
Right.
If a dude does that shit, if it's like a man.
So if I were to text you and be like, I just broke up with my boyfriend, which I did once.
Yeah.
What happened? And you weren't even with anybody.
Yeah, I wasn't. I was single, huh?
You were single, and what happened? Nothing.
Yeah, we had some good
so
conversation.
It can happen, is what I'm
listen.
We're the perfect example.
I'm the exception.
No, you can't think that.
Yes.
No.
Oh, I know it. I don't think it. I know it. I am the exception. I promise you. It's just not men. Men and women are not the same. Men and women are not completely, but very different beings.
Yeah.
Totally.
Absolutely. I agree with that. Yeah.
And so it's just different from the
I
different
think every
perspectives.
situation is also different.
For sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Every situation is different. So like it could be percentage wise very like men are definitely like this, women are definitely like this, but in the long run, it's really about it's situational. It's all situational.
It's by a case by case basis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
for sure.
I would say for the most part, it is really difficult for men and women to be friends. I will say that for the most part. I would say it's really difficult.
It's not easy.
Yeah, it's really difficult.
If they're in a relationship.
Correct. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
even if not, like, because there are times where people are friends with other people, like with the opposite sex, and like they think like. Because, like, remember I told you I hung out with that one person and I wasn't sure if, like, it was a friend vibe or a, like, more than friend vibe. You know what I mean? Like, you just have to, like, kind of feel that part out. And then once you, like, feel that part out, like, oh, it's only going to be like this, then you have to make the decision of, like, okay, if it's only going to be like this, can I handle that? Like, if it's only going to be a friendship vibe? And then can I still hang out with them without it being weird, right? But I think like when you and I met, I literally just broke up with someone that I was devastated over, right? I was like, and like nothing, I didn't think of anything like that. It was just like, hey, like I'm going through such a hard time. And then we just like went to MeDiet Cafe and had breakfast. But, and that was it. Like, and I feel like that could be a possibility for other people, but I understand.
It's rare.
That it's rare.
That's rare.
It's very rare.
That is very rare.
That's very rare.
For sure.
So, but audience, have you guys?
I'm curious.
Yeah, like, first of all, do you have platonic friendships with the opposite sex? Also, have you ever been friends with the opposite sex and like tried to have a friendship, but it didn't lead that way? Like someone on one side or the other wanted more than friendship. Yeah. I'm interested to hear that because I feel like there's been a lot of stories of people like, we tried to be friends and the other person either like told them what their feelings were or, you know what I mean? There was some sort of romantic feeling somewhere along the line.
Okay, but can it be a platonic friendship if there is that romance aspect? Can it? Okay, so and you sent me that reel on Instagram where the dude was like, "Oh, I was feeling this girl," and in so many words, he said he or she put him in the friend zone, and he developed this platonic friendship with her. That's not platonic to me. That's not.
Because it started out as like wanting more than that.
You don't go back.
Yeah, you really can't.
You really don't go back. Fuck no, you don't go back.
I feel like you can't.
Fuck no.
Yeah, I feel like you can't.
Hell no.
Unless like, I don't know, I don't think you can. I'm trying to think like, well, maybe like you thought, because sometimes like your feelings get kind of like overwhelming, right? And it's not like you can feel your feelings are valid, but that doesn't necessarily, it's just like the dopamine hit, like there's something there for a second, but then it could go away. Maybe?
Nah, I mean maybe for a woman, but for a man, and this is again the difference for a man, for a man to be attracted to a woman, and be like, I think she looks amazing. I would like to get into a relationship with her. I would like to explore her sexually, all of these things, and to pursue that, and then get rejected.
Yeah.
To get rejected and then placed in the friend zone. At any moment, if that woman were to be like, you know what? I want to see what this is about. That dude's not going to be like, oh, no, we're just... What camera? We're just... No. That dude's not going to be like, oh, no, we're just friends. I don't really...
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
It's not.
You're probably
it's
right.
It's not. No.
Yeah.
And so that dude on that podcast was like, oh, yeah, now I know what having a platonic friendship with a woman is like. And then everybody was like, oh, it's beautiful. Yeah. He's like, yeah. That ain't fucking.
But really, like in his head, he's like,
platonic.
I got rejected.
Yeah. You got put in the friend zone, Negro, and you're trying to soothe yourself.
He's like, this is the best for us. This is all we've ever.
This is great. This is
what I've wanted.
This is amazing. Nah,
homie,
fuck that.
You mad?
You in the friend zone.
Nobody likes being in the friend zone.
And if at any moment she changed her mind, it would not be friends no more.
Yeah, for men,
it would not be friends anymore.
Because I feel like if it was the other way around, right, it would be different.
It would be different,
right? Because I've made the decision already. I'm like, no, I'm like good. Man. I don't want. No. If he said, hey, I'm good, I don't want a like relationship like that. And whatever, I'd be like, that would hurt, right?
Yeah.
And then I'd be like, well, okay, like that's fine. Like we can still be cordial and friends or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then if he were to be like, hey, I totally changed my mind, but like my feelings would be like, oh my God, he changed his mind. Like I want, and then I'd be like, no, he already rejected me once.
Yeah.
And if he rejected me once, like that's it, he doesn't want me. You know, and I would never be able to fully think that he wanted me from the beginning. You know what I mean?
Facts.
And that wouldn't be like, it wouldn't be good. Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. You always go, I love your interestings. Interesting. Yeah. I would be like, because I need, what was that you said? It was the affirmation, assertiveness. What is it that you said? Where like, you're like, you know, telling them, yeah, that's what, like, I want you. Like, this is all I want.
Oh, the reassurance?
Reassurance, yeah, reassurance. I, like, that wouldn't reassure me that you wanted me. Like, if you were like, hey, no, I only see us as friends, depending on what your thing was. If it was like, I really don't have time for a relationship right this minute, but like, I really like you, and like, I could totally see something with you later. Just right now is not a good time. I have a lot going on. That's a totally different explanation than like.
I'm so glad you said that.
Yeah, then like, oh, I'm not interested in you like that. And and then if I change my mind, I'd be like, fuck you. Go fuck yourself. Yeah, like you're bored. But you're just clearly bored.
That's the difference, because men are not like that. Yeah. Men are not like that.
Yeah.
No.
Like they're not like what?
We would not feel that same way.
Yeah.
If and I don't know that specific situation has ever happened to me.
Mm-hmm. Me neither.
To where a woman rejected me and put me in the friend zone and then was like, okay, now I'm ready.
Yeah.
I would imagine that most men would just be waiting on the sidelines to be put in the game.
Yeah.
And when it's time to be put in the game, they'll be fucking ready. And there's not even a question about whether or not oh, she didn't like me before, but now she likes me. It's like, oh yeah, now she's ready. Let's go. And like 100% in.
Really?
100% in.
What?
I would imagine. I don't know.
Really?
I've never been in the situation. I don't think I've ever been in that situation.
I think you have to be in the situation to really know what you would do.
Yeah.
But do you think that it would, like, let's obviously, you're single. Let's pretend like Katie, for example, like she was just like, I don't really like see you like that. And then later she was like, well, that did kind of happen, right? But that was more like because of what was going on. Yeah, it had nothing to do with you. Yeah. I'm saying if it had to do with you, and it was like, oh, like I'm not really interested in like you, like I don't think that we're like on the same page, like I don't think that I'm interested. And then later she was just like, you know what?
Nah, fuck that.
Right?
Fuck out of my face.
That's what I'm saying. So we're not that different. We're not that different. And you can't be the exception because there's other men that think like you in some way. I know you You think like I'm the only one that thinks. I know you're not.
No,
You're not.
I don't think I'm the only one, but I
It's
think
rare,
I'm in
I know.
the minority of
You
men.
You are.
For sure.
You 100% are.
Just the way that I don't know, and I don't want to gas myself up, but just the way that I think is just different.
Yeah.
I always feel like I've been different my whole life.
Yeah.
But
should teach classes on how men should act on certain things. There's some things that we don't see eye to eye on, but for the most part, I feel like there's some things that are different. Like there's differences.
I've learned some things.
I think it's the therapy.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
I think it's the therapy.
I've learned some things, definitely.
Yeah, because I'm like, because I mean, I bring up therapy to some dates and they're like, what?
Excuse me?
Therapy? What's that?
Pardon me?
I'm sorry, talking to somebody
that
about
shit,
my feelings?
Yeah. I've said it before, I'll say it again, go to therapy.
Dude.
Because that shit is, like, what do they say? Therapy is the new 6'2".
Yes, it is the new 6'2".
That's facts.
It is. I went to my therapist, so off subject, because we're going to, of course.
Shocking.
Duh. So I went to my psychiatrist to get me on some meds to try to help me with my mood swings, my ADD, all this stuff that I've been struggling with. And I went to my therapist for the first time since taking all of my the meds that I've been on.
Uh-huh.
And so, but before the very last time I saw her, I remember it's a televideo thing, right? And I remember sitting on my beanbag. Telehealth, right? I'm sitting on my beanbag. I'm waiting for her to come on, and I'm thinking this was last time, before my meds, before everything. And I was like, what the fuck am I gonna tell her? I'm a mess. You know what I mean? I was like, I am a fucking train wreck right now. My hair is everywhere. I have my pajamas on. I didn't even get ready, which I know people don't, but I didn't even try to get ready for the day. And I'm already getting ready to cry because I know it's going to be such a terrible session. I just already know, So she gets on. She's like, hi, Christina. And I'm like, hi. And then I just start. This was not the last one. This was the one before that, which was 6 weeks ago, right? Okay. And then the last one was a little bit over a week ago. Yeah. But she's like, are you what's going on? I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm like, I literally don't know what I'm doing. I was going through all these waves. And I'm like, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of feeling like this. I'm tired of my brain working against me. I need help. I need to figure this out. So the next time after I got all my sessions, all my psychiatry sessions in, she was like, is it on? Okay. She was like, once you're done doing that, come see me again. I wouldn't need to see you after, but I need you to talk to your psychiatrist about these certain things. I'm like, okay. So the last time I saw her, which was a week ago, bruh, I didn't even cry one time except for happy tears because I was so happy that my meds were working.
Good for you.
Yeah. And I was she just was like, you're so different from the last time I talked to you. I'm like, I feel like my brain works now. I feel like therapy, meds, the combination of both.
Oh,
and
my goodness.
It was... Remember when I told you, I'm a new woman? I was
Beautiful.
I feel so much better. I was I just feel so good now. I mean, I'm still really trying to figure some stuff out, but my therapy session was bomb last time. She was like, this is not what I expected. I didn't expect it to be such a quick change. I'm like, oh, thank God, because let me just tell you, go to therapy.
Do it.
Go to therapy.
Highly encouraged.
Highly encouraged.
Highly encouraged.
That was my little rant, but that was what what I was going to tell you was I feel better since you last saw me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm so happy to hear that.
Thank you.
I'm so happy.
And I
to
did
hear
miss
that.
you a lot. I did. I was like, man,
well.
I
miss this.
I missed this.
This is amazing.
Yeah, I missed this. Just talking and then getting it all ready, having people excited to hear the next one. That's what I missed.
The people won't understand because we didn't skip a beat.
I know.
But
they knew.
Yeah.
Did you see this girl Jessica that listens to us?
Uh-huh.
She posted on her stories. I reshared it, but she talked about how she had to get some stuff ready for the day. She was like, I just needed to get motivated and clean and do some laundry. And I wasn't feeling it. But she was like, you know what? Then I was going to just pop on my favorite podcast, Jezebel and the Jester. I fucking love them.
Turn on the pod.
Yeah. She's like, I could listen. It's the kind of podcast you can just chill and listen to. You
What's
don't have to
her name?
think Jessica Goins.
Thank you, Jessica.
I know. She was so
appreciate
cute.
that.
Isn't that so sweet?
That is the sweetest
So
thing.
she was like,
that's all I ever want to be.
I know. And then she was like, and then I went to go see if there was another episode available, and I'm all caught up. And I'm like, oh, and she was super bummed about it. I was like, she was all caught up. And I was like,
so
don't worry, we
sweet.
have another one coming out Friday. So it's really cool to like see people like excited to hear the next one,
so
or like,
sweet.
yeah. So that's what I miss a lot. Like, I mean, obviously, again, they didn't skip a beat, right? Like they
Yeah.
already knew, but we
Yeah.
did.
We
We
did.
skipped so many beats.
Hella beats.
So many beats.
Hella beats.
I don't-
I'm glad to be back to the beats. Glad
we
to be
throw
back
down
to
some
the
sick beats here. If you guys haven't heard Ernest beatbox, he's done it before.
Was that episode? Was that episode 6?
What? I think it was.
Was it episode?
Yeah.
Episode 6 is
Dude, it's lit. Yeah. It's a lit episode.
6
Yeah.
is fucking fire.
It's so fire. We do so many things that we don't normally do. So, you know,
Yeah.
if you want to see our true selves come out, I feel like that's the one.
Episode 6 is a good.
That's
it's
the
a
one.
solid episode.
That's the one.
It's a solid episode.
But so kind of to get back on track, I will say that so when I was friends with a bunch of these married people at the church, right? After I left,
And
this
just
is
because
so
they're
good.
married doesn't mean their intentions are pure.
correct.
Just to be clear.
1,000%.
Okay.
Yeah, 100%. I wonder how many times I've gone over there, because it's happened before with another church. They don't go to the church anymore. They're swingers now. But I always, like, when I go over there, they always talk about it. They're like, so do you want to, if you ever want, like, it's fun. I'm like, no, I'm good. I've known you guys for way too long, and it's weird that we went to church together. So awkward. Yeah. But like, I feel like I wonder how many times like I've gone over to like people's houses that are married, and they were like, dude, like, I'd love to have a threesome. Like, well, you know what I mean? I always think about that because people are like in the church, they're so secretive. They're so secretive. Like, they be lying.
Oh, yeah.
They're like,
It's
oh, I'm just
funny
going to
how-
stay in this marriage, but I'll just cheat because, yeah. I went to a church, not this anyone in here, but it was in Arizona. This guy had a mega church. Literally, I looked up to him so much. He was such a profound speaker, not just about the word of God, but like literally he was so intelligent. He was just a very intelligent man.
Dude, that's how Hitler got people behind him.
No.
He was a really
Very
good
intelligent
fucking
man.
public speaker.
Yep.
Yeah.
And intelligent.
It's crazy.
He was intelligent as hell, and he knew how to speak.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy. You know how to get people fucking
Persuasive,
riled up and behind him.
Charismatic.
Crazy.
Yeah, all that
You
shit.
can use it for good or evil.
100%.
A lot of times.
Yeah,
you use it
a lot of evil. A lot of evil.
Anyway,
but
carry on.
he was talking, like, the way he talked, and he really got me, like, excited to learn about these things, and he was just a really great speaker.
Mm-hmm.
And I never thought, I was like, this man has a beautiful wife, beautiful kids, beautiful home, great, like, job as a public speaker, all this stuff. Like, I thought he was good.
Mm-hmm.
And literally, I had already moved to Vegas by this time, but I had read some news that he was in 12 different, like, relationships. What is it called? When had 12 different mistresses, like 12 different, what is it called when they cheat? Affairs.
Yeah. Affairs.
12.
I'm not surprised.
No, me neither. Well, I
Yeah.
was at the time because I was like, oh my God, like I could never imagine that. I just thought that people like that were perfect. That's how I thought. Right?
Interesting.
Yeah, I thought people like that, people on a pedestal, people that were like preaching the word of God, people had these really close relationships with God. I was like, there's no way they could do that.
I feel like religion keeps you closed-minded.
1,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's, yes.
That's like the point.
Yes.
It keeps you closed-minded.
Yes.
And therefore
You
it's easier to believe
and trust people.
because religion is very belief-based.
And it's also about like trusting the person speaking the word of God, right? And I'm like I put so much trust in these people. I let them like control my entire life for so long. And like it was crazy to hear that. I was like, oh my gosh, this guy had 12 different affairs, 12 different women. All of the women were married. So they were all in affairs with him. And I'm just sitting here like, this whole time you could have literally just been like, this isn't working for me. Like, obviously there's a reason he left to go have an affair, right? Whether it be internal, whether it be his wife, there was an issue with her.
Yeah.
Regardless, therapy would have probably figured out where you were at. And then once you figured that out, then you can like make a decision to leave. But he would have never left because he's a pastor of the church.
It looks bad.
you would never divorce your wife as a pastor of the church.
Yeah.
But it looks worse when you have 12 mistresses.
Not if you don't get caught.
True. But do you know how many times these guys have been caught? It's too many.
All of the times?
All of the times. Pretty much.
All of the times?
I would say all of the big ones. All of the larger, like people that are on TV, because there's women that will come out and speak about it. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So
there's no way you're having 12 mistresses and not one of them
comes up. One of them is going to feel guilty. One of them is going to feel guilty about it.
Oh, my goodness.
This one specifically, he actually, and not that this is right, you know, like makes him right, but he actually went to the board of leaders and was like, I've been having affairs with different women in the church, and I need to step down. So he actually like went to him, was like, I can't keep this a secret anymore. I need to step down and just be done. Cause like
that was probably because she said she was going to say something.
I mean, for sure, possibly. I'm not gonna say for sure, but possibly. Yeah, that's a pretty good chance.
That's
like
plausible.
Yeah, and then it looks better because he actually like said like,
because after 12 go-arounds, you're not like. On that 12th one, you're like, oh, you know what? I kind of
fucked up here.
I feel guilty about this one. Nah. that 12th one was like, yo, this doesn't feel right. I'm going to tell somebody.
I'm friends with your wife.
Wait, let me tell somebody first. Is that okay?
Yeah. That's pretty much how it is. Yeah. And when I left the church, what's so crazy is when I left and like kind of started like changing, it just looked completely different, acted different. My style was different. Everything was different. I was more like out about my body. I was out more about like, you know, like I'm not lying. I don't hide the fact that I'm sexually active, right? Like, so I started to be more like that, right? And then as soon as I did, like, do you know there's only 2 men that are married in the church reached out to me to be like, hey, I just want to let you know that you're doing such a great job and I'm just really happy for you and you look so good. And like, seriously, like, and I'm just sitting here like, dude, first of all, I went to your church that no one likes me at and you're married. Like, how do you think that sliding into my DMs?
They slid in.
They slid in.
They
weren't walking into
that. They didn't casually walk in.
Not to my IG DMs. Those no. Like, slid right in.
Slid in like second base.
One of them, I was really good friends with the female, like the woman.
Yeah.
Like really good
I
friends.
might know this one.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then one of the other guys he wasn't married or anything, but he reached out to me randomly, like some guy that went to the church, but he was like best friends with the pastor, best friends with like all the people that were really higher up in the church. And like he was like very open about the fact that he wanted to bang me. Like it wasn't like I'm so proud of you. Like you're doing such a great job. He was like, no, like you look so good. Like you're hot. Like he's like, you know, if you ever want to hang out, like, just let me know. And I'm just sitting here like, you go to the church where everyone calls me Jezebel. You know that, right? Like, I just want you to make sure you knew that. Like, he's like, no, I like that. Makes it even better for me. Like, that makes it even more exciting.
See, men don't give a fuck.
Fucking animals.
Men are disgusting.
You know, yeah, for the most part, you guys are.
For the most part.
Yeah. I mean, women are pretty there's some women that are pretty disgusting, but not. I feel like not as.
It's just not the same.
Yeah. So those ones, obviously, like I was trying to have a platonic friendship with them, and they were not. They were not having
the same.
They were not.
Have you ever had somebody who you were trying to have a platonic friendship with, and they were not having it at all?
Like they wanted more than a platonic friendship. Yeah,
and they were like, I'm not settling. I want it all or I want nothing.
Yeah, like
they pressed you for it.
I wouldn't say like relationship wise, but there was a couple of friends that I like actually hung out with that were like, I'm like, hey, like, but it did start off as like going on a date. So it did start off as like, hey, like, let's see where we're at. Like, let's see if we like each other. And then if I was like, hey, I'm not feeling it. Yeah. It's not really like something, I'm not vibing or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Is that an excuse that you would use?
Vibing?
Yeah. I don't really feel a vibe. Is that something you would tell a dude just to let him know you're not interested?
Yeah, kind of. I would just be like, I'm just not really like feeling the energy I'd want to feel, right? Like it does feel different. There's something different about, and I can't explain it.
Oh no, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I can't explain like what I feel, you know, like
I've hung out with women and it's been like there is nothing here.
Right.
And then I've hung out with women like Katie who are like, yo, how are you this similar to me?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So I've only been like in a couple instances where I'm like, hey, I'm not really feeling it. Like this isn't really like what I was thinking it would be.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, but dude, I'm totally down. Like you're still fun. Like you're still fun to hang out with. Like you're
Just
cool.
not-
It's just not that
Was that
romantic.
the romantic piece was
The
missing.
romantic piece was missing, or like maybe a core value was like not something. Like kids, that's a big thing too.
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty upfront about it right away. Like, hey, I don't
Yeah.
want to. And like, if they're like, oh, I want, like, if they say they want kids, and then they say that before me, and I'm like, okay, well, just an FYI, like, I don't. I'm already turned off because I'm going to think they're going to want to change my mind later.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like even if they're like, no, like it's fine, like I get it.
Yes.
No, I'd be
Yes.
like, no, you're gonna try to change my
Yes.
mind later.
Yes.
It already turns me off. So I'm like,
Yes.
hey, like I'm not really interested. And they're like, I don't care. Like I really don't. Like it's just something that maybe I'd want to have in the future. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't want to, and I don't want to hold you back from getting that. Like I don't want you to be with I don't want you to settle.
Yeah.
Because that's settling. If you want a kid and I don't, like that's
It is.
settling. You're
It
settling.
is.
So
It is.
I have had instances like that, and then they'd reach back out and be like, "Hey, like I really liked hanging out with you." I know I'm pretty dope, but also
never mind.
no. So yeah, but also like I've never had any of them like stay friends with me. I think it's like once they have that feeling, and then
They
they
just
just peace out. Yeah, which is fine.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Okay, have you ever told the dude no and then later told him yes?
No, I've never done that.
You've never done
No,
that?
I've never done that. Yeah,
No?
no. I know pretty much right away. Like I feel like I know if there's going to be something there that could be
Yeah.
built off of.
Uh-huh.
Like, and obviously like you try and then there's nothing, right? But like
Yeah.
it's an initial feeling. And if I don't have that initial feeling where I think there could be something, then I already know. I have like gone on dates where I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy's really cool. He's really nice. And I like everything about them except for this. And then I try to kind of get over it later. Like, I'm like, maybe. Then I tell them, no, like, this is the one thing that's really, like, I'm not into it.
Do you have a list?
I have, like, an outline.
An outline?
Yeah, not really an
Interesting.
outline, but, like, just a few things that I have that I'm like, these are really important to me.
Okay, you have deal breakers or
Deal breakers.
non-negotiables.
Correct, yeah.
And then you have your negotiables.
Yeah.
Do you have them written down?
I should write them down, but no, they're
No,
mostly
they're just
mental.
in your head?
Yeah. I should write them down. They're
What's one of yours?
like what? Which one? Of
Like,
non-negotiable?
what's one of your non-negotiables? Has to be. Besides kids, because we know that one.
I would say that it's not so much that they have to already be in therapy, but they have to be open to the
They
idea
have
of
to
it.
be open to the idea
Yeah.
of therapy.
Like they don't have to already be in it, right?
Yeah.
But they have to be
course.
open to the idea of like, you know what? I am kind of fucked up and I probably should go see a therapist or talk to somebody. Mental health, like in general,
That's a
it's
good
like
one.
it's just really, it's
That's
for
a good
me.
one from the female perspective.
Yeah.
Every woman should have that non-negotiable.
Yeah.
If every woman,
Do you know how different everything would look? Do you know how different everything would look? You guys, girls, ladies,
if every
listen up.
woman had that non-negotiable, if they're like, you're not getting in these draws unless you go to therapy,
Listen up, women.
the world would be a better place.
It really
The
would.
whole world.
It really, really would.
The whole world.
As soon as they say they don't go to therapy or they're not interested in therapy, I'm immediately like, no, I'm good. Like, I'm good because not only are you not going to fix yourself or like try to grow, right? Because I don't really think, I hate to say we're broken and we need to be fixed. I feel like everyone's just going through it. It doesn't necessarily mean you're broken, right?
Yeah.
It just means that you're going through some shit and you need to figure it out, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if people can't like come to that understanding of themselves, they're not going to understand that for someone else, right? I know for a fact I have a lot of stuff I need to work on, and there's like a lot of mental issues that I need to get a hold of. And if they're not taking care of their stuff, they're not going to understand mine. They're not going to understand that I need therapy. I need to go to a psychiatrist. They need to be understanding of mental health. So that's my first one. That's like my non-negotiable.
Damn, that's a
And that one
good
weans
one.
all of them out.
That is
That's
a
why I'm
good
still
one.
single. So
That is a good one.
still single. And I do fear that I'll never find that because it's so rare. It's such a
nah.
maybe I should get into therapy groups on Facebook.
It's
like
out there.
men that go to therapy and then just
It's
like
out there. Yeah, for sure.
So that's a non-negotiable.
Go to an AA meeting. Or
That's
like
a really great piece of advice.
or an essay meeting.
That's a great piece of advice. I'm going to meet the love of my life at these meetings. That these people are really struggling with addictions. Thank you so much for giving me that piece of advice that
I'm here to
carry
help.
with me forever.
I'm here to help.
I'll tell my therapist about it, see what she has to
And you
say.
can meet your guy in the wild.
Dude,
That's
yes.
a win-win.
You'd be proud.
Would I?
Yeah.
What have you been withholding from me?
I deleted all of my dating apps. Yeah. And every guy that I've talked to on the dating apps, I've pretty much stopped talking to.
What about...
Except for my dick rotation, which is only 2 people now.
What about the dude that doesn't live here?
The
Lives
one
in
that
the
doesn't live
South?
here. Oh, no, he lives here. That one lives here. He just is from the South.
Oh,
Right? Is that the one?
I thought he lived
No.
somewhere else.
No,
Oh, he lives
he
here.
lives here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, like we like hooked up a few times and he's the dick is good. But he's very toxic. I know for a fact he's not a good. Yeah. We've already discussed though that I'm like, hey, I'm not like I'm good. But like if you want to hang out, I'm good with
Wait,
that
did
too.
you say he's very toxic?
Oh my God, he's so toxic. Yeah. Like
How so? Please.
oh my gosh. Okay.
Please.
First of all, oh my gosh, and you know the mutual that him and I know, which is so funny. Do you remember? I mean, she's not gonna care if I talk about her. Jennifer Neal. Okay, so she fucked him before. Yeah, she's not gonna care that I talk about this. So she fucked him before, and when I was talking to her about like him specifically, I was just like, yeah, he works at the stadium, and she's like, he works at the, so do I, so did I during the same time. Like, who is it? And then I told her, and
Wait,
she's
work
like,
where?
the Raider Stadium.
Oh.
And she's like, oh my God, I used to work there too. Like, who is it? And then I told her and she's like, motherfucking. She's like, dude, she's like, I got with him. I'm like, you did? Years ago. This was like a couple years ago. No, not even a couple. No, this was like a little less than a year ago. Now that I think about it, when it matches up with the fact that he has a 7-month-old baby with another, like the baby mama part is what gets me. Like, I'm just like, 7 months? Like, how long have you guys had? How long have you guys not been together? You know what I mean? Like, how involved are you in the kids? So he's really involved in everything, but it just seems really like sketchy. And like, he doesn't talk about the baby mama a lot. And like, when he does, it's always like, yeah, like, I make sure like even on my days off that I'm not like the days I'm not taking my kids. He has 2, so it's not the only one. But anyways, and I don't have my kids. Like, I watch them for her. Like, if she wants to go out on a night, she's supposed to have them.
Wait, he watches his own kids?
Right. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Does he watch this podcast?
I think he did listen to a few of them.
I hope he watches this one.
He's going to know exactly who I'm talking about, too.
Can hear the disappointment.
He's going to know exactly. But he knows that when we hang out, that's generally what it is like we're just hooking up, hanging out. That's it. And then he goes home, and then that's pretty much it. We don't talk a lot. So, and that's kind of how it is. Like, I like it, right? Like, I'm like, and I will say, like, I don't know if it's what it is, if it's the meds or what, but I am not, like, I am no longer like, you know what? I just want a friends with benefits. Like, if we're going to hang out, like, I want to spend time with you. Like, I want to hang out with you. I want to get to know you. I don't want to fuck you on the first night. Like, let me just try to get to know you. And I'm even at the point now where I'm like, I don't want to do that with anyone right now. Like, I'm just so focused on trying to get my shit together.
So wait. So what do you want then?
Right now?
So you're like, I want to. So how would you describe it if it's not friends with benefits?
The two guys I have right now that I talk to specifically for that, like, I'll continue with them. Like, that's fine because I have needs, right? And we know and we know the two know like that this is it. This is all it is. There's nothing else.
Respect for you just.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Respect.
And then I'm not meeting anybody else online ever. I don't want to do it anymore. I'm over it. So fucking over it. And now I'm like, I'm going to focus on myself and like do the shit I need to do. And then if someone just happens to like pop in along the way, like, okay.
At an AA meeting or something?
AA meeting, SA meeting, whatever meeting. Any kind of anonymous meeting, I'll be there.
They go to therapy.
Dude, they do, and they have accountability.
Yeah,
they're getting their shit together.
Look, I might be onto something. I'm not even gonna lie.
You know what? If any of you ladies want to go to an SA or an AA meeting with me just to scope out some dudes that are in therapy,
I'm not even gonna lie.
Let me know.
If you find an attractive dude at an SA or an AA meeting?
Yeah. I mean,
he's working on himself
He
at the
is.
least. He's already got one of your non-negotiables squared away.
I'm going to ask, though. I'm going to be like, hey, like, are you here against your own will?
Is somebody forcing you
Is
to be
someone
here?
forcing you to be here? No, I just knew I had a problem and I needed help. I'd be like, okay, let's hang out. I mean,
Get on over here.
Get on.
Get on over here.
Sit on mama's lap, right?
Let me help.
Let me help you out.
Let me help you.
Yeah. You might be onto something. I always joke around with my therapist. I'm like, so do you see any cute guys? Like, anyone? Yeah, I just joke around.
That's not a bad idea. That is not
I'm like, can you like schedule me when like your cutest guy is about to leave?
Yeah.
And then like let me know and I'll be there a little early, and then just maybe shoot the shit and be like, oh, like don't you love her? Isn't she great?
Wait, did you seriously say this to your therapist?
Yeah, I did. I was
What
like,
did she say?
She was like, well, like if it happens to land that way, I'll let you know. I'm like, okay.
Yo, she better be.
Yeah. I told her, I'm like, I'm requiring them to go to therapy or be open to therapy.
Yeah.
Like it's important. It's really important to me.
Very important.
I've seen my friends in the church, especially in marriages where all they do is get counseled by pastors and all this stuff. And I see like the destruction it's caused in their life because they haven't really gone to real therapy to get their real feelings taken care of.
To get an unbiased opinion.
Yeah. And all they're doing is being manipulated and like using this thing that's been written thousands of years ago by very flawed people. Like that's what you're using to guide someone's marriage. Like I just see that and now I'm like, I never ever want to go through that again. When I separated from my late husband, he said, is there anything that I can do that's going to save this? I'm like, I can't guarantee that it's going to save it, but you need to go to therapy.
Oof.
Like, oh, we got a little rush from the water.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I should probably drink some water. Anyway, so he's like, I'm like, the only thing that's going to help is if you go to your own therapist, right? And so he went, but he never really went, if that makes sense. Is that for me? Oh, what is that? Is that lemonade? Is there tequila in that? I'm over here thinking you're drinking fucking water. You're hydrating yourself and it's fucking tequila. Is it tequila? It's not? Are you lying?
No.
What's in that?
It's spa water, yeah.
Oh,
Pull it together.
I thought it was this.
It's cucumber and lemon or some shit.
Okay. I thought you were gonna feed me some or give me some alcohol. Okay, it's alcohol free. It's fine. It's real. It's real.
It's spa water.
It tastes good.
It is. I know. I went to Greens and Proteins today.
They sell water like this?
They don't sell it, but they have it on tap. You just put your water bottle underneath there and you get you some spa water.
Well, now I know. I literally thought it was this and that you had vodka in it and you were just going to keep giving me alcohol. I've had enough.
Anywho.
Per usual. Where are we at?
An hour and 17.
Oh, shit. I got to edit this.
In closing. So I'm still... What are your feelings on the platonic friendship thing?
Well, obviously, I mean, everyone's going to know what my feelings are and what your feelings are about it because I feel like we're expressing the platonic friendship every time we're on the podcast.
Do you feel like it's equal, though?
What do you mean?
As far as men having platonic friendships with women versus women having them with men?
I think more women have them with men than men have with women.
Well, I mean, it has to be equal, right?
Well, it does, yeah, because then you're...
But it doesn't,
it doesn't, yeah.
For women, it could be platonic, and then for men, it's not.
Right, it's not, exactly. Yeah. So I feel like women do have an easier time. Yeah, I do. And especially after listening to the guys at the gym this morning. Because it wasn't just Nick, it was another person chiming in. Mm-hmm. Same kind of idea, right? Like, they're like, no, like, you can't. Especially if you're married or with a woman, it's like, my girl's not going to allow that. That's what it sounds like most of the time. Like, my girl's not going to be cool with that. And I'm like, really?
I feel like it's easier for women to be cool with it than it is for men to be cool with it, though.
I don't know.
Men are
just disgusting, nasty men. Anyways, so in closing, we just want to know, do you guys think, like I've already asked in the middle of this, but do you guys think that you can be friends with the opposite sex platonically, no romantic anything, no sexual anything? Is it possible? Is it possible?
is it different whether you're in a relationship or
Yeah,
not?
exactly. If you're in a relationship, does that change the dynamic?
Does it?
It could for the other person. It could for the person they're with. I don't think it's different for the person that wants to be friends with someone else. I think it's their partner.
It's the partner. It's
Yeah.
the partner that it changes.
Because they're the one that makes the decision really ultimately for them,
Yeah.
right? Like, I mean, they shouldn't,
Yeah.
but it comes down to trust and their insecurities and all of
Yeah.
that. So it just depends on that person.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really change for the person that wants to be friends. Like if I
Yeah.
got a man and he were to be like, I don't want you to be friends with Ernest anymore, I'd be like, I have a really big problem with that. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like I have a really big problem with that because
we got some commitments.
yeah, like we have some, you know, if you can't handle the fact that I have a platonic friendship with someone that you're intimidated by for any reason, because that's another thing. It's like, are they better looking than me?
Yeah.
Do they have a better relationship with my friend, like with my girl than I, like that bothers
For sure.
men, which is you clearly have said already. That's
Yeah.
something that would bother you about.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So we're curious to see if you guys agree with that.
I'd love to know.
I want to know because this is
Please
actually
let us
something I
know.
really wanted to talk about when we first started writing our podcast notes down. Like when we first started writing our podcast, one of the things was platonic friendships.
Yeah.
Because we got so many. Whenever we do our reels, people would just be commenting like, "You guys aren't," and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, people don't think that you can."
Yeah.
Obviously, it's very clear. So I'm curious to see what you guys think.
It's possible.
I think it's possible.
It's
Clearly,
definitely possible.
Clearly, I think it's possible.
Yeah.
So we're just interested to see what you guys say. But yeah, we're at like an hour and 20 minutes now, so we're gonna wrap this up.
B.
We're gonna wrap this up. But thank you guys so much for listening. If you guys are listening on a platform like Apple or Spotify, make sure you guys give us a 5-star rating. Let us know what you think. It really helps us be like more visible to other people. And then if you guys are on our YouTube, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. It helps you get notified if we come back on, and also comment your thoughts.
Yeah, let us know what you think.
I love your guys' comments.
We love the
we always
interaction.
we like the interaction. So we like to interact back with you guys. But that's the end of our show.
That'll do it.
That'll do it.
It's
All
been a
right.
pleasure.
It's been a pleasure, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great night.
Bye.
Bye.